Good morning, Patreon. Ryan Achterberg, who was, I don't know, Ryan Achterberg. I feel like with that name, you could get like all of the evil German roles in movies. Ryan Achterberg. You know, you could be like the spy sniper guy with one eye patch, you know, or whatever. Anyway, Ryan said, group supply distribution. If one person brings more than another to the group, does anyone deserve more? I think we're talking about food here. What about supplies that no one knows about but you? So, there's a couple questions here. If one person brings more than another, does anyone deserve more? My gut says no, nobody deserves more. But think about like critical infrastructure and continuity of community. So let me kind of unpack this a little bit for you. Our basic rule of thumb for admittance onto the team is a year's worth of food, line gear, and a bug out plan. Where you gonna go when the world ends, right? And if so, how does that involve the rest of us? Right? So line gear, a rifle, and a way to keep it fed, and a way to carry all the things, right? Bug out gear, and a way to use it, a plan to use it, and a year's worth of food, okay? Those are like pretty solid prepper benchmarks. But what if I've got, we'll just say, what if I've got 18 years worth of food, and you've got one, and we're all living communally, and we come on to day 366, and you're out of food, and I'm not. Then what happens? Well, if I control the resource, it's my food. But I'd probably say, you know what, Ryan? I like you. We spent the last year together. You're not an a-hole. I'm not gonna watch you starve. Let's figure this out. Do you deserve my food? No, you don't deserve my food. What about critical infrastructure? What about the war chief and the head of our trauma unit and our priest? Should they stay fed? Yep. How? Well, let's all have more than a year's worth of food. And so to give you an example, one method that I think could work is that everybody has their year of food in their place, right? And then at our bug out location, we communally have literal tons of food. Whose food is that? That's our food. It's not my food or your food, it's our food. And nobody can get pissy about that. We all contribute to our food. What is our food for? It's for us. It's for the running of the tribe when we all exhaust our year's worth of food. Now, if I have more than a year's worth of food, that's okay, but I should still be putting food into our food as well, right? So after a year, if we all have a year's worth of food, if after a year you have to transition from eating your food to eating our food, communal food, how can I begrudge you that? That's what our food is for. Our food is for after we've all burnt our year's worth of food stockpiles, which hopefully we're having honest conversations with each other so that your year's worth of food isn't actually 4 months worth of food, right? That you actually have a year's worth of food. Hopefully verifiable by your other tribe members. I mean, members of my tribe and members of my mag, you spend enough time around here, you can see food storage without even trying to see it. It's everywhere, right? It's just there. I went to get a shotgun last night because we were having raccoon jihad around here because they've been eating our chickens, which makes my wife upset. Happy wife, happy life, Raccoon Jihad. And so I went upstairs to get a shotgun, and I opened the door to the closet that holds the shotguns and was pleasantly surprised because I had forgotten just how much food we had shoehorned into that closet. It's everywhere, right? So your year's worth of food is hopefully verifiable by other members of your tribe. After that year's worth of food expires, those who need to transition to our food. Now I can't be upset with you if you're eating our food because we're day 366 and that's what our food is for, okay? Now upon day 366, I'm still eating my food. That's my call. Well, what if I want to keep my remaining stockpile of food and start eating our food? Doesn't matter. I can eat either or because I've been contributing to our food, right? I have just as much right to that food as does anybody else, regardless of whether I still have food left in my pantry on day 366, because it's our food. I put into it, I'll take out of it. The end, right? Now, if we have a year's worth of food for the community and our food, and we come on today, what is it? Oh, brain, 833, right? Year, 2 years and a day. Now what? I've still got some food left in my pantry, which by this point, man, if we haven't spun up our agriculture, if we haven't pressed out into our area of operations to take positive control of the situation, to transact with other people, to hopefully consolidate power by consolidating food, things are bad. Things are bad. So, I hear a zombie. So, if at the conclusion of 2 years we still need to eat food and I have some left, guess what? I'm gonna. So, that's kind of as far as the distribution of supplies. You have your stuff, and then there's communal stuff. And I really think it's in everybody's best interest in your group to sit down and discuss right now, what is the communal stuff, and what are the responsibilities of us as a group to feed the communal stuff? Where will it be stored? How will it be dispersed? And let's all agree to it now. And if you have to draw up some type of contract, do it. Well, you shouldn't need paperwork amongst friends. You better have it, especially amongst friends, so that it's in black and white, so that you don't need clarification. Does anyone deserve more? No. How do you value one human life over another? Short answer is no. And because that can create some moral conundrums for you, you better figure it out now. He who does more is worth more, but if everybody's working their tail off, everybody's worth more, which means we're all worth the same, right? What about supplies you have that no one knows about but you? And you made the comment that I've made the comment that I have stuff that people in my tribe and people in my mag don't know about. That's absolutely right. The first thing to understand is a lot of that stuff isn't here. It's elsewhere. So if we have to stay localized in an SHTF event, that stuff isn't going to do me any good. That stuff is in capabilities kits elsewhere. That if I go west, I can lay my hands on stuff, or east or north or south. Capabilities kits. They're what all the cool kids do. Oh, they confiscated all my gut. No, they didn't. Oh, we don't have any foot. Yeah, we do. But I need a knife. No, I have plenty of knives. Right? I lost my rucksack. Oh, that's right. Capabilities kits. So, a lot of that stuff is that. Some of that stuff is stuff that exceeds the 1 year mark in food storage. A lot of that stuff is the type of stuff that would be useful to a community of people, especially a growing community of people post-chaos. Let's say somebody shows up and they're like, hey, we got these new people, we don't have anything for them. It's like, well, we have extra clothes, we have extra blankets, I have extra rucksacks, we have chest rigs, we have spare rifles, we have extra ammunition, we have these things, blah, 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 blah. What about those things? Is that property of the tribe? It's my property. I can use it to bless the tribe, although it's at my discretion. I think the correct answer is, although I think it is conditional, but in most circumstances, the correct answer is, if it's good for the tribe, it's good for me. So I will bless the tribe with these things, because a strong tribe makes a strong T. T needs a strong tribe so I can stay strong, right? It's the tribe first and then us as individuals. And that's not collectivism, it's a fact. If you have a strong group, then individuals within that group can be strong as well. It creates an environment in which the individual can flourish. But without a strong group, each individual is having to get by on their own merits. And now if you have a weakness perceived or actual in any one area, that can be exploited, and now you're a statistic. So it's tribe first. But the manner in which I bless the tribe with my largesse is at my discretion. That being said, that's why it exists. At some point, how many rifles do I need? How many rucksacks do I need? How many buckets of food do I need? The answer is all of them. How many rounds of ammo do I need? Why am I doing these things? Well, A, I have a conviction, and B, I would really like other people to help me with it. And so if I have the ability to help people help me, I'm winning. But the manner with which I disperse those things is at my discretion, because it's my stuff. Now, if it's communal stuff, do you have a committee? Do you have a tribal council? I have said repeatedly, I think a committee of 5 is a good number. I think you have your chief, kind of like the executive. You have your war chief, your minister of defense, your whatever. You have your spiritual leader, that makes 3. And you have a representative from the men and a representative from the women. And what's gonna put a woman on the council? Yeah, probably at least one. Sounds like at least one. And votes 3/5 majority. But the executive and the war chief can say, hey, listen, in times of dire need, we have to do this, right? And how y'all work out your own internal bylaws for a situation like this, that's between you and your friends and the Father. But having a plan for what that looks like now, how do we actually disperse this stuff now? Yeah. So group supply distribution. If one person brings more than another, does anyone deserve more? Once it goes into the communal pot, that's property of the community. It doesn't matter who brought it. If there's $100 in the till and I brought 80 and this guy brought 10 and this guy brought 10, it doesn't matter. There's $100 in the community pot. Think about like tithing at church. If the church is trying to raise 10 grand and one guy plunks a $5,000 check in there and the whole rest of the congregation comes up with the other 5, does that guy own 50% of the church project? No, it's the church project, right? So whatever goes into the community pot, it's not yours anymore, and it's not distributed based upon what you have donated to the cause, right? If you put 50% in, you get 50% back out. No, it's not like a mutual fund. It's not a savings plan. It doesn't work that way. It's the communal pot. You put in what you can put into it, and then you get out what you can get out of it. If there's 20 people and you put in, we'll use easy math. If there's 10 people and you put in 50%, you do not get 50% back. You get 10% back because you are one of 10 people, okay? That's how the communal pot works, and you need to be okay with that. But then what's yours is yours. You disperse that as you see fit. but it should be dispersed in such a way that it keeps the tribe strong, powerful, and effective, because without the tribe, you will not remain strong, powerful, and effective. I hope that gives some clarification, Ryan Achterberg. Thank you, Patreon, for being here. You guys are awesome. You are the economic engine of Bear Nation, and we literally could not do this without you guys. Shalom.